NASCAR just told Cleetus McFarland he cannot race at Talladega. So what did he do? He signed a multi-year deal with one of the biggest names in power sports, ran a sold-out event at his own track, and announced he is building his own racing series. All in the same week. And here is what nobody is talking about. The Polaris partnership is confirmed and completely public, but neither side has released an official dollar figure. So every specific number you are seeing thrown around online right now is speculation, not a confirmed amount. We are not going to guess at numbers here. We're going to tell you exactly what actually happened, deal by deal, race by race. Because the man got blocked from one race and somehow came out bigger than before. Stay with this until the end, because the last piece of the story is the part that changes how you see everything else. But before we get into any of that, if you have not subscribed yet, hit that button right now, because this story moves fast and you do not want to miss what comes next. Now, for anyone who somehow still does not know the name, Cleetus McFarland, real name Garrett Mitchell, is a YouTube motorsports creator who built a massive audience around horsepower, burnout culture, chaos, gearhead content, and live events at his own race facility. By April 2026, he had crossed 4.6 million YouTube subscribers. He owns and operates the Freedom Factory in Bradenton, Florida, an actual functioning racetrack that hosts multiple events every year. He already runs his own Crown Vic racing series. He has a connection with Richard Childress Racing. He has competed in ARCA East. And he made his O'Reilly Auto Parts Series debut in front of a national television audience. This is not just a YouTuber who wants to race. This is a man who already built an entire motorsports business and is now actively expanding it into sanctioned racing. That context matters for everything that follows. So let's establish the racing record first, because this is where the Talladega story actually begins. At Rockingham, Cleetus entered the ARCA East race and finished 4th. That is a legitimate result in a competitive series. Then, in his O'Reilly Auto Parts Series debut, he finished 32nd after a chaotic day, but he completed the race, did not destroy his equipment, and did not collect any other cars. Yes, he was loose at times during that Rockingham weekend. Yes, he finished 6 laps down in the O'Reilly race. But he finished both events and did not cause incidents involving other competitors. And the television numbers behind that weekend tell a story on their own. The Rockingham O'Reilly race on the CW drew 165 million viewers. That was up 12% in rating and up 11% in total audience compared to the same event the prior year. Cleetus did not produce all of that alone, but he is clearly a significant part of the wave driving those numbers. So with those results and those numbers on the table, what happened when Talladega came up? NASCAR's approval board did not grant Cleetus McFarland clearance to race the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series event at Talladega on April 25th. This was not a permanent ban. This was a specific denial for a specific track type, and the reasoning came directly from NASCAR officials in public statements. John Probst, NASCAR's chief racing development officer, stated that Cleetus did fine at Rockingham, but still needs a bit more progression before racing in a superspeedway pack. Probst confirmed that Cleetus is approved for ARCA, Truck Series races, and O'Reilly short tracks, just not O'Reilly superspeedways. Not yet. Steve O'Donnell, the president of NASCAR, went on the Door Bumper Clear podcast and addressed it directly. He said, "Is kind of every race." He explained that they go race by race and look for the progression they need to see. He said, "Cleetus is a hugely popular driver, but these are the best drivers in the world, and they have to make sure they have the right guys out there." And then he added something that tells you exactly how NASCAR actually feels about this situation. He said, "We love Cleetus. Our R&D team watches his videos. We love what he has done for the sport." Now here is why this debate has not died online. Every single week, approved NASCAR drivers spin, crash, miss pit road, misjudge corners, and collect each other. Cleetus gets one rough day and faces a different standard. NASCAR's position is logical. Superspeedway pack racing at 200 miles per hour is genuinely different from short-track competition, and driver approval processes exist for safety reasons. But the fan counter-argument is that the bar being applied to Cleetus appears measurably higher than the bar applied to drivers who cause actual on-track incidents regularly. Both sides have a point, and neither side is going away. Cleetus himself did not pick a fight. He stayed calm publicly and said he is grateful for the opportunity, learning every race, and still loving every minute of it. Here is the thing. While that debate was happening, Cleetus was not sitting around waiting. He went full gas in every other direction simultaneously. And this is the part of the story that most people completely missed. On April 7th, Polaris Off-Road Vehicles officially announced a multi-year strategic partnership with Cleetus McFarland and the Freedom Factory. And again, no exact dollar figure has been confirmed publicly by either side. Do not trust specific numbers you see circulating online. What the official announcement language actually tells you is this: the partnership covers operations, content, experiences, and Freedom Factory activations. This is not a logo on a fire suit. This is not a sticker on the side of a car. This is a full ecosystem partnership. Reed Wilson, president of Polaris Off-Road, said, "We couldn't just watch from a sideline." He stated that Cleetus brings energy, passion, and authenticity that reflects what American motorsports is all about. Cleetus responded exactly the way Cleetus always responds. He said, "Hell yeah, brother," and confirmed that Polaris fits perfectly with everything he has built around freedom, horsepower, and having a good time. Now here is what separates this deal from standard sponsorship. Look at what Polaris actually did on day one. Cleetus revealed the partnership through a YouTube video where he surprised the entire Freedom Factory crew with a brand new fleet of Polaris vehicles. The Crown Vic Fire crew received a Ranger XP 1000 four-seater for debris cleanup. The grounds crew received a specialized Ranger XP 1000 for landscaping. Track management received a Ranger XD 1500 Extreme Duty as a mobile office. Track prep expert Wade received a new Ranger XP 1000 to replace his decade-old unit. That is not a press release. That is a company physically changing the infrastructure of how the Freedom Factory operates on day one of the deal. From a pure business standpoint, Polaris is not buying random exposure here. Cleetus already has the audience, built, loyal, and active. He already has the facility, an actual operating racetrack. He already has a culture that people do not just watch, they participate in. They show up for the Freedom 500, the Crown Vic events, drag events, shop content, track content, and now sanctioned racing. They are backing an entire ecosystem, not just one person. The Reddit motorsports community described this deal as a model for how influencers evolve into full media companies. That framing is accurate. And then came April 10th, the same weekend as Bristol, and the Freedom 500 at the Freedom Factory. The event was sold out. Over 7,000 fans were in Bradenton for a field of 26 drivers, including Travis Pastrana, the defending champion, and NASCAR veteran Kenny Wallace. The full field mixed NASCAR veterans and content creators, all racing Crown Victorias for 500 laps. Pastrana came back to defend his title. Cleetus himself had his night end early with a mechanical failure after a wreck, which is exactly the kind of chaos that makes that event what it is. The Deegan family took the win. But the broader point of that night was this: while NASCAR was debating whether to let Cleetus race at Talladega, he was running his own packed event at his own track for a sold-out crowd. The audience is real. The facility is real. The operation never slows down. Travis Pastrana posted on Threads after the event and said they might keep him off the superspeedway, but they can't stop the fans showing up to his track. Dude's building something special. And then came the announcement that even hardcore followers have not fully processed yet. Cleetus told Short Track Scene that he purchased a straight rail late model from Port City Race Cars and is adding a pro late model division to his Crown Vic race events. He said, "I want to start my own little late model series that travels with the Crown Vics." The plan is approximately 6 events per year, with the stated goal of giving up-and-coming racers more opportunities within the same community already built around Crown Vic racing. This is not a random side project. Map out what the full operation now looks like: a YouTube content machine with 4.6 million subscribers, the Freedom Factory as a functioning race venue, an established Crown Vic series, the annual Freedom 500, a multi-year Polaris partnership, active sanctioned racing in ARCA and the O'Reilly Series, and now a pro late model touring division being added on top of all of it. The r/Cleetus McFarland community went deep on the Port City chassis purchase, breaking down specs, possible driver lineups, and potential tracks. Cleetus dropped a thumbs-up emoji on the top post from his verified account. That is not a content creator with a racing hobby. That is a vertically integrated motorsports business. So zoom out and look at the full picture. The Talladega denial was covered everywhere as a setback. But is one closed door in a building that has 20 other doors all opening at the same time? Steve O'Donnell said progression is evaluated race by race, not a permanent no, a current no. John Probst said not yet for superspeedways, not never. Richard Childress has praised the broader value Cleetus brings to the sport. Polaris built a multi-year deal around his entire world. Travis Pastrana and Kenny Wallace are both publicly endorsing him and showing up at his events. The Rockingham O'Reilly race pulled 165 million viewers, up 12% in rating and 11% in audience year-over-year. And Steve O'Donnell confirmed on a podcast that NASCAR's own R&D team watches his videos. Usually, when a driver gets denied for a race, the story gets smaller. With Cleetus, the opposite keeps happening. Every obstacle has been followed by a bigger announcement. Every debate has brought more attention to his name. That is what makes this thing so hard to look away from. Cleetus McFarland came into NASCAR as a YouTuber, and everybody had an opinion. The skeptics lined up. The critics were loud. And while all of that was happening, he kept racing, kept building, kept signing deals, and kept growing an operation that most full-time NASCAR drivers could not put together in a decade. The Talladega door in the O'Reilly series is not closed. It is just not open yet. And if the last few months have shown us anything, it is that closed doors have never once slowed this man down. If you are not subscribed yet, hit that button right now, because this story is nowhere near finished. And drop a comment below right now. Do you think NASCAR should have approved Cleetus for Talladega, yes or no? Because the next video is going to cover the part of this story that nobody is connecting yet, and you are going to want to be here for it.